It's Monday, which means it's time to continue with the Game of Thrones rewrite. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
Alright, so a few things right off the bat. First off, sorry, this is going to be a short one because turns out that I'm double booked this week. I'm already behind on so much. I'm behind on everything. I'm doing a double today. I'm doing doubles most of the week, and plus I'm backed up on all the freaking articles I'm writing for Review Nation. By the way, go check out my review for Cobra Kai Season 2 and Crash Team Raising over at ReviewNation.net. Let me know what you think. I did a video for this is the main thing that I want you to watch. You can find it on my YouTube channel. You can go to ReviewNation.net, but I did a video for Cobra Kai, and the format I did for that review is one that I was considering doing for the regular podcast for this one. So let me know what you think. I've tried two styles. That's one. Okay, that's the second one. The first one I tried all the way back at SDW episode 54. So I feel like one's better than the other. Let me know what you think. So yeah, if you want to check it out on my YouTube channel, you can find it Super Dario World Podcast on YouTube. Check out either episode 54 or Review Cobra Kai. That one you can only find it either on Review Nation or on my YouTube channel. Let me know what you think of the formats and the styles because I'm still working on that. I wanna reach a point where every single thing I do, I have a video for it. Just because it makes it easier to follow along. Because I know I ramble on a bit. I go through different spots. I go a little bit crazy sometimes. So it's better for... it's easier to make people follow me that way. Anyway, or at least I've been told that it facilitates what I'm speaking about. Anyway, so that also, if you want to check out the podcast, you can find it on the iHeartRadio app. Just type in The Show Presents, Super Dario World. You'll find it right there. Or on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube as Super Dario World Podcast. I'm also considering getting rid of the SoundCloud one. Reach out to me. You can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram if you want to contact me with any comments, questions, or suggestions. I don't know how many people listen to it on SoundCloud, or even if any of them. I try not to read the statistics. It would drive me nuts. I would obsess over it. So I'm considering just getting rid of it because it's just expensive, and I don't know if it's just a waste of money and if it's redundant at this point because I already have them on iTunes, YouTube, and the iHeartRadio app. So if anybody you out there is really important for them for it to be on SoundCloud, okay, I'll probably consider keeping it. If not, just I'll wait to see if I hear from anybody. I'll consider that this week. Anyway, so yeah, I'm double booked this week because I gotta do the regular show stuff. Plus, a coworker for my other job quit, and so they're like, Dario, take all of her shifts. You know, be a team sport, be a team player. So I got to do that. And also, I'm kind of backed up on things that I have to review. I'm going to review Season 1 of The Boys. It should be up soon. That's the next one. I'm also reviewing the Blu-ray for Detective Pikachu, which I'm stoked about. I already saw the movie. Now I want to see the extra DVD features, behind-the-scenes stuff. I always find that fun, especially when it's voice acting and animations and all that stuff. I find that really cool. I'm also going to be doing one for Stranger Things Season 3. And I got like 3 video games that I'm going to review. Like 3. A couple of them one I never really heard about, so that one is always exciting. And I'm also going to be doing Fire Emblem: The Three Houses and Wolfenstein 2: Youngbloods. So I got a lot to do, man. We got a lot on the plate, so I got to keep this one short. And I just noticed that I just rambled on for 3 fucking minutes. So, all right, let's get that out of the way. Let's get started. Okay, so a quick little recap on what happened last time. Basically, last time all we did was follow along Tyrion and the things that happened along with him. So I'll probably try to do that, I'll do it kind of like in the book, you know, where they focus on one character and the events that happened around him. I think it'll be easier, except for this one, because I feel like I need to explain something. So after we follow along Tyrion actually starting to get in the game, starting to he had a conversation with Varys where he realized, like, dude, yeah, Littlefinger, he kind of took over a lot of fucking ground because neither you nor I were here to stop him. He just had free reign everywhere. And So they realize that, and they have to kind of like bring him down a little. So Tyrion sent a letter to the Starks, to Sansa Stark and to Jon Stark, along with Varys, to verify that, hey, yeah, Littlefinger lied to you guys, and he lied to your parents, and he's probably the reason why they're dead, which is information that they did not have before. So he sent that over to them. He also tried to advise Daenerys on military strategy, which I know is not Tyrion's forte, but at this point, I'm going to make him stop being just a useless idiot. And he actually suggests that they attack King's Landing to quickly end this. Just take on ships to blockade Dragonstone, and just take that, and with the dragons, do nightly raids on the castle, and eventually send the army on land to blockade the city in the hopes that either the people will revolt because they don't want to be attacked by a dragon every single night. By the way, but they would attack at night because, Black Dragon at night, you can't really see him. So he would be defended against the scorpions and all of that stuff, and the ballistas. And so, but he needed Daenerys to understand that there are cachets. Well, he knows Cersei, and Cersei's crazy, and he knows that she likes wildfire. And also, her father, Aerys Targaryen, the Mad King, had cachets of wildfire hidden throughout the city because he wanted to blow it up. So he wanted her to understand, if we do this, we could win very quickly, but there's a chance that the entire city might get burned to the ground if we do it. So he put out the strategy out there, the best option, but it was Daenerys' decision. Daenerys had to choose if she was willing to take the risk, right? If she's risking, because at that point, everybody knows that if you're going to take a city, you're going to sack a city, right? You don't expect anybody to really survive. Ideally, you want them to surrender, but no, it's usually going to be pretty bloody. That's been the truth throughout history. And so they decided, okay, you know what? Let's just finish this quickly. If we drag it out into a long war, that means that more people will die. Let's just cut the head off the snake and, end this thing right here, right now. That's when they get a letter informing, specifically, Yara Greyjoy gets a letter informing him that Pike has been retaken by Yara Greyjoy. For those of you who don't remember, Yara Greyjoy is Theon Greyjoy's sister, who managed to escape after the Kingsmoot and all that stuff, and she was kind of just floating around. I'll tell you what Yara did, okay? I'll tell you why she went over after Pike. So, here's how that happened. Well, here's the consequences of that. Yara Greyjoy is very pissed, and he's trying to storm the fuck out of there. He's like, she took my fucking island. Who the fuck does she think she is? Blah blah blah. And Daenerys tries to kind of calm him down. Like, dude, just relax. We kind of need you here. Like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna go retake she took my seat. I need to go and retake it. It's a pride thing. It's an honor thing. How can you be like a king without a seat? Because technically he is the king of the Iron Islands at this point. Still. Daenerys is, remember, he's engaged to Daenerys too. And so Daenerys is like, no, we'll just retake the capital, and then we'll turn over to that. But we need to do one thing at a time. And now, Euron is a bit of a hothead, but he does understand military strategy, and he does see how they could be. Here's the problem for Euron. If he does things Daenerys' way, then he would be in a weaker negotiating position. Because afterwards, when he doesn't need the fleet anymore, then she could just toss him aside as the fiancé, right? Right? She could just be like, fuck it. And she does have a rep for being kind of a bitch and going back on deals. That's Daenerys. I did not give her the rep. That's literally what she's done. She's betrayed people multiple times. Anyway, so Euron could do that, or he could just go and retake Pike. But he knows that if he does that, it's kind of pretty much going to end the relationship there, or it's going to end his what is it called, the betrothal right then and there. So it's kind of being stuck between a rock and a hard place. And again, he's a hothead, but he understands strategy, and he wants to stay in the position that keeps him the strongest. So what he suggests is like, all right, fine, I'll do it your way, but let's get married right here and now, right before we set sail. That way, we are both king. We're king and queen without a seat, and we both go and reconquer our rightful seats. So now the one in the pickle is Daenerys. She has Because remember, she wanted to kind of keep Daenerys. All right, again, I mentioned this before. Euron might be exactly Daenerys' type, but all her advisors are saying, no, don't marry a fucking Iron Islander. Varys is saying it. Tyrion is saying it. However, when she accepted the betrothal, she was in a position where she absolutely needed transportation. She absolutely needed it. There was nobody else who had a fleet that big that could cross the entire Dothraki army and her entire Unsullied. It would have taken months, and they facilitated the process into weeks. So she knew how much she needed him, and that's why she accepted it. However, she kept it as a betrothal because there was still the possibility of A, he would die, or B, so things could change. Situation could change. Now here, she's being pressured, and she's in a position where she still needs Euron. In order for her best strategy to work, she still needs Euron, and her argument is relatively reasonable. So if she says no right there and then in front of all of the allies, in front of like every single person they brought together who really don't like each other, remember, they don't like each other. So if she says no right then and there, then she'd be sending a pretty clear message that my word means pretty much nothing. Yeah, it's like, oh, I will only use you when it's convenient for me, and I'll screw you over when I don't need you. So I will only take, I won't give. Because the sneaky, manipulative Euron knows he's good at this game, all right? Euron is very manipulative, so he put her in a position where it's okay, he has to get what he wants at that point. Otherwise, he basically has an out. He got an excuse to rush Daenerys to push this situation, which is exactly what he was waiting for. Now, it sucks that they took Pike from him, but he understands that Yara ain't gonna go anywhere. Pike is gonna be there. He still has the Iron Fleet. And so, might as well turn this loss into a win, right? Perfectly reasonable, perfectly sneaky, just like our good friend Euron. Well, except he's not really reasonable. He's kind of crazy. Anyway, so as Daenerys is mulling this over, one of Euron's captains rushes in, and then another, and then another, and then another. And they're all kind of like in an upheaval, and they have letters. Here's what the letters say. They are letters from Yara Greyjoy, and they are calling back every single Iron Islander to the Iron Islands for a Kingsmoot. Why? Because Theon Greyjoy has been recovered, and since he was not a part of the last Kingsmoot, he has a legal right to redo it and re-participate in the Kingsmoot. So, legally speaking, every single Iron Islander has to return to be a part of that Kingsmoot by the law of the Iron Islands. And this is what sends Euron over the fucking edge. Because not only is Yara taking her seat, she's taking away her fucking army. Now, granted, they don't have to go, but then by law, they would lose the legal right to the Iron Islands. And if you lose the legal right to the Iron Islands, you also lose your kingship. And also, the Ironborn are they're extremely loyal. I mean, to the point here, I need you to understand how loyal the Iron Islanders are. If you guys remember, when Theon Greyjoy was left in Winterfell, and he knew he was facing certain death, there was a chance for his men to abandon him, to leave with Yara, and just leave Theon there to his death. Theon, who they had not been with for that long. However, they decided to stay there and be loyal to Theon because that's the law of the Iron Islands. You don't abandon your captain. Now, if in this situation, the Iron Islanders, they're going to pick their next king because that's what the law of their land says. They're super religious people. They obey the laws of their land. So Euron knows that a good chunk of his either they're going to leave or they're going to be extremely upset because he's doing things illegally, so he's not following the laws of the Iron Islands. He's not paying the iron price, and then he knows that he will lose his kingship. So for them, Euron is just like, all right, fuck, I'm out of here. I got to go back and retake it. And Daenerys, at that point, Daenerys kind of understands, fuck, there's nothing I can really do to stop him. And Tyrion is the one that explains the situation to her. He explains kind of the laws of the Iron Islands and that he shouldn't really even try to stop him, because Daenerys was kind of losing her shit. She was like, if you leave me, you become an enemy, blah, blah. And so she was sending a bad message to everybody else there. Like, oh, if you want to go and reclaim what's yours and protect your own stuff, you become an enemy of this queen. So Tyrion was left kind of holding a big, hot, burning bag of shit. Pretty much. That's what happened. Now, let me explain how this situation came to be. So, as you guys remember, Yara was kind of just sailing around, trying to find a place to hide after the events of the Kingsmoot, just trying to survive. And so, I also told you that Littlefinger took Theon with him, and he started sending letters around to all the bunch of different people all the bunch of Iron Island houses, the great houses of the Iron Islands, letting them know that Theon was with him. So eventually, one of those houses was an ally of Yara. They sent word to Yara, letting them know that, hey, Littlefinger has your brother, and it sounds kind of like he's willing to negotiate. So it was when, again, if you guys remember, Littlefinger has, besides bodyguards and all that stuff, his most important weapon is communication. So he always has ways of communicating with people. He has a bunch of people carrying a bunch of ravens with him so that he can communicate anywhere. And so while he's been traveling with Theon, he's been setting up communication with the Iron Islanders, and specifically with Yara Greyjoy. And here is the deal that they came to. Basically, Littlefinger will give up Theon if Yara retakes Pike. So if the second that Yara retakes Pike and she calls a Kingsmoot, Littlefinger will send Theon along with some of his men back to the Iron Islands, and for him to reclaim his throne. Basically, the stone that was stolen by his uncle. And so afterwards, he's also making deals with Theon, because remember, they're traveling together, and he's trying to make Theon one of his pawns. So that's how that came to be. And so, as things stand right now, Yara Greyjoy is on his way back to Pike to be part of the next Kingsmoot and retake his throne, retake Pike. Yara Greyjoy is kind of just sitting there hoping that that Littlefinger keeps his word and Euron respects the laws of their land. Littlefinger, true to his word, sends Theon back with a small, contingent, sends him back to Pike while he's in Dragonstone collecting dragonglass for the Starks and sending them over to the north. So that's what happening to those guys. On the other hand, Daenerys, like I said, she lost Euron. And without Euron, that means she lost all her ships. Well, at least all the Greyjoy ships. The Tyrells still have a contingent of ships, the Redvine fleet. Well, I mean, it's not the Tyrells. It's a house called House Redvine. They have ships as well because, they need to transport food and wine and stuff. So they have ships. However, they know it's not going to be enough. And again, the Redvines, not really fans of working with the Dornish or with the Dothraki or with the Unsullied. So tensions rise in Camp Daenerys, and now they have to find a new strategy that would most likely require them to reach King's Landing on foot, which means they need to take Storm's End first. So that's it for today. That's where I'm going to leave it today. I don't think I forgot anything. I'm pretty sure I didn't. But okay. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Any thoughts? Any questions? I always have people ask me questions after this because like, hey, what about this? And I try to clarify, or I clarify in the next one. So again, if you want to contact me, @Dario the Show on Instagram is the easiest way. And hopefully you enjoyed that. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again tomorrow.